Let's take a look at the next step of the machine block exercise. So I'm going to go to AutoCAD. So here's our machine block that we started last week with just our in the last tutorial. It's just a standard box. And I've got the assignment here next to it. Now you need to start cutting out pieces almost like this is a block of clay. So the first thing you want to do is go to your layer properties. And if you haven't already created a construction line layer, create one and make it current. Okay. Now I'm going to start with the top view because we've got some dimensions, 3.25, 5.25, 5.25, 1.75, 5.25, 5.25, and 5.0. Okay. You don't want to put too much stuff on at once, but we're going to start with, we're going to draw some construction lines. Remember, that's the XL command. Since my X and Y are like so, I can go horizontal. I'm going to put one right at this corner. Enter. Enter again to repeat. Click vertical. I'll put one here. I'm also going to put one here. While I'm there, I should do another horizontal here. Okay. Now to make it easier to see, change your visual style to wireframe. Save as you go. Okay, so our first offset is going to be 3.25. So it's just the simple offset command. You type in 3.25, enter, select that construction line and move up. Hit enter to finish. Let's look at the next one, 5.25. I'm going to right click to repeat the most recent command, change to 5.25, type that in, except I typed 5.52, so 25, enter, snap, one more time. Okay, let's do the vertical lines. 1.75, 5.25, 5.25, and 5. Okay, so again, offset. You can type O. You can right click and repeat. So we're going to start with 1.75. We're going to go to the right, enter to finish, enter to repeat, type 5.25. Click to the right, click to the right, enter to finish, enter to repeat. Click one more time, save your work. Okay, what that did is it gave us an outline shape for those two squares. Now, how far down do they go? The first one goes down 3.5 and the second one goes down 3.25. Okay. So we need that information too. But before you can do offsets on the vertical face, you have to change your UCS. So there's a couple ways you can do that. The simplest way is with the 3-point, where you select a new origin, something along X and something along Y. And now the X, Y are flat with this vertical face. I'm going to undo that and show you another way. Right here, here's orbit along X, orbit along Y, orbit along Z. So if you think of the X as your thumb and you're just pivoting, I can click X and the default is 90 degrees. So it does the same thing. Okay, so let's see what those heights are. 3.5 and 3.25. So we're going to do offset 3.5 down, enter again 3.25. Okay. Now remember that this is a solid block, even though you can see through it. So we need to cut away some of those pieces. Easiest way to do that is with the box command. Actually, an easier way is with the polyline command. So I'm going to go back to 3-point. I'm going to go back to the top face. I'm going to pick the top left corner. as my origin, something along X. Doesn't want to snap, so I'm going to shift right click, endpoint, and endpoint. Okay. Now, sometimes with construction lines, they don't like to snap to intersections. So we're going to try this. If it doesn't work, there's a workaround. I'm just going to do a regular rectangle command. I'm going to shift, go to intersection. There's one, shift, intersection. There's two. Okay, so all I did was make a square. I'm going to extrude it. And I'm going to try to go down 3.5. And it went up. So I'm going to undo that and double check my number. Yep, 3.5. Okay, I'm going to select that. I'm actually going to change, right click, properties. I'm going to change the color just to make it a little easier to see. Okay. So I'm going to extrude, enter, enter, and I'm going to say minus 3.5. And I'm going to copy this down to the next one. Now for this one, I need to make it an additional 3.25 deep. So I could redraw a rectangle, or I can use my stretch command and just grip stretch it down an additional 3.25. And that didn't work. So let's try it one more time. Let's try minus 3.25. Still not working. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. I am going to draw a rectangle from here to here. And notice it doesn't want to snap, so I'm going to shift, right click, intersection. Okay, then I'm going to use my extrude. I'm going to select that rectangle. Remember, you have to type in negative, so 3.25 plus 3.5 is 6.75, so minus 6.75. Okay. Now, before I subtract these, I'm going to select these two objects. Select that, select that. I'm going to change to object, so they're on the same layer. That way I can turn off my construction line. I'm going to make object current by selecting it. And I'm going to turn off construction. Okay, so if I change from wireframe to X-ray, you can see these two little pieces. It's kind of like a Jello mold. So I go back to wireframe because it's easier to work. Remember, subtract. With the subtract command, you first select the thing you want to keep, hit enter. Select the things you want to get rid of, hit enter. Doesn't look that much different yet, but when I change from wireframe to X-ray, actually let's go to conceptual. You can see the holes. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and then we'll look at drilling the holes at the bottom of those next.